we can move on to
Great segue.
the rulings that came out, right? The new rulings.
Oh.
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
So now we can start using the app, the Neuron app, developed by Konami. And what's awesome about the app is that we can actually start using the app as translation for foreign cards, right? So we can actually start playing an all French deck, or German cards, and it's perfectly okay, which I think is amazing. I think it's like
you don't have to buy cards like twice.
Yeah, I don't have to own and carry the translations with me now when I go to events.
Yeah.
Don't you still have to bring both? I thought you had to bring both still.
No, you can use the
they changed it.
Neuron app.
Okay. I love the app, by the
Rob,
way.
do you have the app downloaded?
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
I love it, dude. I really do like it.
Yeah.
Right. What I don't like about the rulings though is like, and Simo mentioned this as well in his channel, is like when it comes to the life point counter, how you have to, if you're using Neuron, that's fine, but you also have to keep like a pen and paper just to also keep it down that way.
Doesn't make sense. Why?
It's like
it's more so just to like make sure, like even though Neuron has the log, like they still like it when you can just go like it's easier to look at the paper and it saves more time to just look at.
They
want
to see like a paper trail basically of like what was like subtracted every single time you guys took life points, just to see like plays.
I hear you guys on it. I hear you, but it doesn't make any sense to me because if you're telling me I can use the app, why are you still making me use the paper? Why not just not use the app? Anyways, you see what I'm saying?
Right. If the app is used for translation, then it's the same thing.
I just don't want to go to an event and carry like 40 different items before I'm like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically. It's like, let me set my pen and paper, my deck, my calculator. It's just, let me just start.
Being able to go to events and have like as little as possible is really good. Like your deck, your mat, calculator, paper, pen.
Yeah.
If you don't have to carry a calculator, that's great.
But that's true, but they also want you to put manual counters on your card. So it's like, what do they want from us?
Oh yeah,
that's stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
That ruling is stupid.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like that one. That was the one thing I didn't like because I was talking to Jack about that, and he was just like, "That it's so stupid because freaking Jackal King by accident gets like 30 counters. So I'm gonna have 30 dice on my Jackal King now. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that now?
No, they want you to stack 30 coins on top of that card.
Jenga.
That must change.
That's the problem with Konami. Jenga. It's like, what do they want? Do you want us to be convenient? Oh, you can have your sleeves back, but you have to bring a trillion counters with you. Or you can use the app, but you still gotta have paper. It's like, what do you want?
So I think it's only gonna really be an issue once these counter decks actually become viable. Because right now,
once people start playing Endymion again. Yeah, because people might start playing Pendulum again when the Metal Flow support comes out because they might think Electromite comes back. So they might.
I feel like they might bring it back just to push the sales for Blazing Vortex a little bit, just like they did for Phantom Rage with Rusty.
Yeah,
I think what's really
that was another thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
No, I think what's really hurting the Pendulums as well is like the Master Rule 5, where you still can special summon the Pendulums from your extra deck, like in Mass.
Good.
I think if they had that mechanic, because if they had the mechanic, imagine Soul Charge every turn with just 2 cards. Like you Soul Charge from your extra deck every turn. Like that was insane. Like everyone was pen 5, make 2 XYZs or make 2 synchros. It was like, or 2 synchros. Like you don't want to make those decks as aggressive. And Electromite literally said, "Cool, whatever card you want from your Pendulum deck, put it in your extra deck and pen it out later, or you can add it to your hand by popping the face-up card."
But if that happens, then you can. I mean, Torrential Tribute is still at 3, and getting Torrential it sucks when you Pendulum.
Yeah.
I got a main anti-spell again.
Yo.
Shit. Bottomless Trap Hole destroys Pendulum decks when they Pendulum summon, yo.
No, it's all
about Bottomless Trap Hole, all banished.
Pendulum summon?
Yeah. Yo, Warning's at 3 too.
Warning's at 3.
Judgment, all the songs are at 3.
Strike's at 3. Like, if they want to do it, that's fine.
The problem, I think the problem is trap. Like, as a person that likes to play control decks, trap cards suck going second if they're not spelled by like evenly imperm. Evenly imperm reboot, like those are trap cards, but they're also spell cards in a sense where you can just use them
They're hand
proactively.
traps.
I got
They're
it.
hand traps.
Yeah. So it's like the problem is like the strike is really good when you go first, but it's also not a combo piece and it's not searchable. In most cases, it's not searchable. So it's like if you build your deck, you're like, okay, I want to go first. But then okay, I have the strike when I go first. When you go second, like losing the dice roll, you're just like this strike isn't going to do anything. It's like that's part of the problem. Like you have to use it turn like 3, but by turn 3 they can just kill you.
But like so does Paleo, and Paleo was a very strong deck back in the day as well. But if it goes second, you just sit there with all your traps, smiling like an idiot, and you're just like, yeah, all right. Set. And you shake his blood.
And there's like a lot of good things to play against, back row control decks in general. Giant Trunade, what's that Trunade card?
Oh, Hey Trunade.
Hey Trunade, evenly matched, Twin Twister, which is so
Tornado.
easy to get nowadays. Fucking Harpy's Feather Duster, Dust Tornado. It's like you have all these cards that can just destroy back row decks. So I feel Pendulum can still exist in this world where there's just so much back row hate and shit that goes towards Pendulums. But I feel it's still pretty balanced overall, right? I feel
like with how it is now, where because think about it like this: you can't pen 5, but you can still go make a Vortex, Cross Sheep, summon absolute summon a Vortex to the Cross Sheep, summon, do a bunch of link plays. Like they have Celine, which is great in Endymion. They have Needle Fiber. They have they have all the Endymion cards. Like with Electromite, I think that deck just gets super insane if they get it back. And plus the meta flows. Yeah, it'll probably come back to 1. Drift Gaming will have a heart attack. He'll play it until he gets banned again.
Well, and then he's gonna start carrying spell counters with him.
He's got Endymion spell. Oh no, not Endymion. Electromite spell counters. That actually sounds mad nice.
I bet people are gonna start showing up like the Monopoly man with a bag full of coins,
dice. Yeah.
There was a guy at our locals before it closed down that did that because he played Pokemon. So in Pokemon, you need a crap ton of dice to keep track of the HP of your Pokemon. So he would have a little dice, a bag of dice this big, just filled because Pokemon needs that many dice. So we're gonna start looking like we're playing Pokemon now.
Imagine playing Pokemon, but you actually physically have to put the counters down, like the 10 counter.
There's gonna be more dice on my card than
dice. It's just
you can see the card.
Yeah, you can see a whole bunch of pennies on one card.
Yeah.
I like that you can take note. I don't like how certain things they put that you can't use counters Reckless Greed or Voltaro.
You just have to manually remember it and then hope your opponent doesn't also shout you forget about it too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's it's mandatory effects I used Purple Nightfall the next night, it has to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. I saw a lot in these new rule changes where they're you can refer to your notes for specific things, but there's also things you can't put in your own notes. And I found that kind of confusing. They were when your opponent has to reveal their hand, you can't physically write down the names of the cards that's in your opponent's hand, even though, you could just remember them perfectly fine. How are they going to know what the fuck you write in your notes? You know what I'm saying? That itself causes a ton of issue.
Yeah.
So I can what he wrote
down.
Notes
are public knowledge.
Yeah.
So
if a judge
it's how in the.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what can you look through your notes that I don't remember? What can you look and put in your notes, and what can't you?
It's mandatory. If I'm right, it's mandatory effects that affect the immediate game state. So if you're under D shifter and you forget that you're under D shifter, you just write down okay, I'm under D shifter I've been under D shifter, or I'm under D barrier on XYZ, so I can't summon XYZ monsters, or
right.
What was another one or I'm under a virus card the Eradicator. It's stuff they want to do it so that way there's less. Yeah, they want to do it so that way you're under less. You're less likely to get a oopsie accepted game state. They don't want to do it as much because there's a lot of people that will forget things and be oh, it's accepted game state now. So you just want to have to write, be able to write it down. I've had people what was it? I had a guy who I forgot that it was a Sunlight Wolf that wasn't relinked, and then he used the Rage to pop 2. But if I had written it down, I wouldn't have forgot. But I forgot, so he got a free pop. So it's stuff like that affects the game state. I think that's stuff that they more so want to write down. but they don't want to give you like knowledge, like Mind Crush before when you could reveal your hand. They didn't want you like to have like written knowledge. You just have to remember it.
Okay.
But that's a big part of the game as well. Is like yes, of course the game takes into consideration like the physical cards you have, but a big part of the game as well is also, I guess, the mind games you play with your opponent as well, right? It's just unfortunately that's just the fact. You know, if your opponent misplays, it's not your fault. You know, and I think that kind of rolls into it is like if your opponent forgets like what happened to you, right, Rob, where you forgot about the Sunlight Wolf, right? That was benefit to your opponent, and that's just unfortunately part of the game as it is right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and knowledge is scary in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like knowing exactly what you're. That's why Infernoble's so good, because you get to look at their hand and be like, I know exactly what you have. I know exactly what I need to negate, and if the only thing you don't know is the one card they draw for turn. So you'll know what the hand is between Smoke Grenade and Dolphin. Mm-hmm. So you have perfect knowledge. You're like, okay, you can Rhoda, sure. The two other cards in your hand don't do anything. This is what you need. Okay, I'm gonna negate the Rhoda. Or it's like, oh, your hand's like really good. Okay, so I have to negate this, that. Like knowledge is really powerful. That's why I think they changed a lot of the rulings. Like with Mind Crush, where you can't look at their hand. What's the card? The Lullaby Obedience, where you didn't get to check your opponent's deck. Like knowledge is really powerful in Yu-Gi-Oh!
What about a Pointer of the Red Lotus?
That one, I think it's because what the hell? Sorry, my Christmas tree randomly turned on, scared me. Those cards explicitly say look at your opponent's hand, not reveal. So it's like Smoke Grenade says look at your opponent's hand, Dolphin says look at your opponent's hand. I think Mind Crush just declare a name, and if it's in the hand, they reveal it. But a lot of people just reveal their hand when. But now it's like the cards that still do it explicitly say reveal your hand.